Pucatraders, what's up? My name is Wilson, and this is a Magic Online Cube Draft. That's right, we're drafting Cube today, and we opened a pretty sweet one. Jace the Mind Sculptor. He's a guy. He's a guy, costs 4 mana, and he's a Planeswalker. Nothing really special about him. Except for the fact that he has 4 abilities, and all of them are completely insane. He has been called the Mickey Mouse of Magic the Gathering. He's the face of the franchise, and rightfully so. He's pretty insane. Probably the best card in this cube iteration, and we're gonna take him. We're gonna play with Jace the Mind Sculptor in our pool. So bam, Jace. All right, this pack. I see 2 cards that stand out. There's Vidalcan Shackles, and there is Force of Will. Between the two, I'm going to go with Vidalcan Shackles. Shackles says you choose not to untap Vidalcan Shackles. So, you tap it and it stays tapped. That can't be very good, right? Well, you can pay 2 and you gain control of target creature with power less than or equal to the number of islands you control as long as Vidalcan Shackles remains tapped. So you can continually steal your opponent's creatures, you can block with them, attack with them, sacrifice them, do anything you would like with them. Because they're now your creatures. So we're going to take the Shackles here and start off with a pretty sweet looking blue deck. All right. Let's see. No islands in this pack. And in fact, there's only really 2 blue cards here. There's Kira, the Great Glass Spinner, and there's Nightveil Spectre. Nightveil Spectre is a little harder to cast. It will require triple blue, or if we end up splashing into black. There's also cards like Necrotal and Unburial Rites. Sylvan Library is very good. We already have a Jace, so Sylvan is a little bit of a redundant card with Jace. I kind of want to stay on course here and take the Kira Great Glass Spinner. I don't think anyone would be faulted in taking the Unburial Rites. I think Unburial Rites is very good, especially if you pick up like a Giftsum Given later. But we're going to take Kira, and as soon as we steal their creatures, then they gain this ability. So it'll be really hard for them to get their creatures back or kill them. All right, next pack we have Thassa. We could make like a mono blue deck. We definitely have the pieces to do that, and Nightveil Spectre is usually wheel, so we can keep that in mind. There's also a Forbid, a Ravages of War, a Temple of Epiphany. Ravages of War is very good in this cube because there's no signets, and the artifact ramp is pretty scarce. So that's one thing that makes Ravages bad, if there is artifact mana. So I think that we're going to take either Forbid or Thassa. And you know what? I want to make a mono blue deck, so I'm going to take this Thassa here and try our hand at mono blue. Well, we have Big Daddy Jace, and we could also have Baby Jace. There's also Frost Titan. Both are very good, and seeing as how we already have one Jace, and this Jace he's okay. He's actually very good. We have a lot of 3-drops already. I kind of want to take this Frost Titan. Sometimes Frost Titan can just win the game. And that I like doing that. I like I like winning the game. So I think we're gonna take Frost Titan here, pass up on this Jace, and not even look back. All right. So there's no blue cards in this pack, which is kind of a bummer. There is a couple of Angels, Goblin Scouts, Orc Shamans, Koth. Here, though, I think I'm going to take an Isochron Scepter. So that way, if we pick up anything like Mana Leak or, straight up Counterspell, Into the Royal, there's a lot of great blue cards that we can put onto Isochron Scepter, and getting it this early means that we can speculate on it, and, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We're not missing out on any, blue cards here by taking it. So I'm going to take it. It is going to be a spec, and we'll put it in there for the time being. Well, now, there is a Deceiver Exarch, which we can make the Kiki-Jiki combo if we so choose. There's also an Into the Royal, which goes well with aforementioned Isochron Scepter. Also cards like Baleful Strix, Magma Jet, Grim Lavamancer are okay. I'm going to take this into the Royal. It is very good with Isochron Scepter. Just 2 mana. You can constantly be returning your opponent's permanents to their hand. Exarch is an interesting one to see go, and I'm not super thrilled by passing it, but we're going to take this into the Royal, which is also a very good card, so don't get me wrong there. I'm going to take this Hallowed Fountain here. We don't have any white cards, but it is an island. And then if we pick up anything like maybe Sphinx's Revelation or Supreme Verdicts or anything like that, we could easily splash white. There's also nothing else in this pack, so we will take Hallowed Fountain. All right, here, Mox Diamond is still in this pack. Wow. Well, we'll take that for sure. We can imprint like something like Kira, and then, it can just produce blue. Or, it can produce white if we get to that point. But we're going to take Mox Diamond here. All right. Nothing really great in here. I think I'm going to take this Sulphur Falls. It's not an island, so I'm not super thrilled with it. Bonfire of the Damned is pretty good, but yeah, I'm going to take the Sulphur Falls. Another kind of a speculation. All right, just as we thought, Nightfell Spectre Wield, so that's pretty great. We'll pick that up. Now we're looking for things like Master Waves and, other mono blue type cards. So Nightfell Spectre, get in there. All right, none of these are great. I'm going to take this Mizium Mortars and Lightning Greaves, maybe Skullcrack. I'm going to take this Lightning Greaves. I'm not super thrilled with Lightning Greaves, but hey. Gotta have some shoes. Unacceptable. Koth still being here. Koth is a great card. We'll take Koth. Looks like we can be maybe red-blue, but we passed the Deceiver Exarch, so someone probably is trying to go after the Kiki-Jiki Splinter Twin Pestermite Deceiver Exarch combo. But we're mono blue. We're doing it. We got Jace. Grim Lavamancer is another great card. Picking up some really good late red cards. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we can be red. Pack 2. What do we got? Not a whole lot in the blue camp. We got Kaiga and Negate, which are both, they're okay. They're like, you want to be able to pick these up like mid to late pack. But there is one card that is pretty strong here, and that is Wormcoil Engine. We will definitely take Wormcoil Engine here. It is just a big ol' 6-drop that's going to gain you life. It's very hard to deal with, and yeah, I'm a big fan. And also, I'm a big fan of being able to play a deck with Vidalcan Shackles and just all islands. That's what I want to be aiming for, and Wormcoil Engine does keep us open. So we will take a Wormcoil Engine. All right. Well, there is actually an infinite combo inside this pack. And the infinite combo is Wake Thrasher plus Basalt Monolith. Wake Thrasher says whenever a permanent you control becomes untapped, Wake Thrasher gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Basalt Monolith says you can tap it for 3, colorless, and then you can also pay 3 to untap Basalt Monolith. So you pay 3, tap it, or you get 3 mana by tapping it, you pay 3 by untapping it. Tap it, untap it, tap it, untap it, tap it, untap it. And infinite combo, there you go. So do we pick one of these infinite combo pieces and try and go for the other piece on the wheel? That is a good question. There's also a repeal, which is very, very good. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take this Basalt Monolith and try and wheel the Wake Thrasher. Repeal is very, very good. And I'd be very happy picking that up, but let's go with Basalt Monolith. We also have a couple of cards that are a little bit more expensive, and Basalt Monolith will be able to help those out. Well, Master Waves, we did it. We did it, everyone. Don't worry. Our mono blue deck is insane. And yeah, so Master Waves. kind of the perfect card for this deck. So, cool. All right, and this pick, well, there's not much of anything for us here. Even the white cards, like Armageddon is okay, like, you know, maybe splashing with Hallowed Fountain. Venser is not bad. Again, another thing that we can splash with Hallowed Fountain. I'm actually going to take the Mutavault, especially since we just picked up the Master Wave. It is technically an elemental creature, so it will be a 3/3 when we activate it and have Master Waves going. But otherwise, it's just a pretty good card. It's not an island. Islands are not creature types, but we will be taking this, and you know, it's a fine card. It's a fine card. All right, Worn Power Stone is pretty good. Gifts Ungiven, we did pass the Unburial Rites, which I'm a little bummed out by passing that. There's also Mana War, and I think I'm going to be taking Mana War here. Mana War is very, very good. Other cards in this pack, Oblivion Ring is fine. Elixir is okay, but we will take the Mana War. It's just value. It's just all the value. And, ooh, this is a very good pick. Venser Shaper Savant is a great card. Pact of Negation is pretty good to have just around as a card in your deck. But Venser is phenomenal, and we will definitely be taking the Venser here. This mono blue deck is shaping up to be quite the beating here. Let's see, with this pick, well, we pretty magnificently whiffed on this one. There is a Sundering Titan, which Sundering Titan can be pretty good with just islands out. Especially if your opponent has an island, just blow up theirs, and then you don't have to worry about anything of yours. Show and Tell is a little scary, and we could pick it up, and then maybe pick up like an Emrakul or something later on in pack 3. We do have the Basalt Monolith to power out the Thundering Titan. Oh, I was just talking about my pick and we ran out of time. Well, I guess it's Martial Coup. Whoops. We'll take Everflowing Chalice on this one. Let's see. Yeah, nothing really piques my interest here. Troubled Island is pretty interesting. But yeah, we'll take Everflowing Chalice here. Be pretty happy with that one. All right, like I was saying, Kaiga is definitely one of those cards that you want to pick up late in the pack, and we'll do that right here. Everything else here, not very special, so we'll just take a Kaiga. Follow that up with, well, there we go. So we have an infinite combo now. Wake Thrasher is also just very good on its own. You know, you just tap out at the end of their turn. There's no more mana burn, which, you know, this guy was, I believe, around during mana burn. So he wasn't that great. Now without mana burn, you can just tap out at the end of your opponent's turn, untap everything. It becomes like an 8/8, and you get there. So pretty cool. I do appreciate picking up things like this Mox Diamond and Everflowing Chalice, because we do have a lot of 3-drops. This one is not super great. Genesis Wave is a little scary, but I'm going to pick up this Indrik Stomp Howler because we do have a lot of artifacts in our deck that if they do get Stomp Howlered, you know, we're going to be kind of bummed out. There's an Ether Vial. There's also a Psychotog, Karmic Guide, Bloodghast. Take this Ether Vial. I don't think that we're going to end up playing it. But it is a good thing to just have around. If we run into a deck that is running just infinite counter spells, things like that, Ether Vial is pretty sweet to have around. All right, well, just picking up a random Gifts Ungiven is pretty sweet. So I'll take that. I don't think it'll make the main deck here, but Divinity of Pride is kind of a beating. So is Dictate of Heliod. We'll take Divinity of Pride. And Mentor of the Meek. All right. Not bad, not bad. So what are we looking for in pack 3? We are looking for, I think we're just looking for more of the same. Maybe some counter spells. Yeah, I think that we can pick some cool stuff here. Pack 3. Let's see. So we have Jace. So Delver is pretty cool. We don't have any like brainstorm effects or, you know, other ways to, I mean, we kind of have ways to manipulate the top of our library with Thassa. So Maybe it's Delver. I know that Delver will wheel. Delver is not super great. Swords to Plowshares is very good with Hallowed Fountain as a splash. I think that we're going to take the Cyclonic Rift, though. Cyclonic Rift, sometimes, if you can just overload it for 7, like, it's just game over. Otherwise, it's also very good putting it onto an Icegron Scepter. So we'll take that. Followed up with, just a casual Cryptic Command. No big deal. No big deal at all. Spell Pierce will be an interesting one to see if that wheels. And I'd also be totally fine with the Dungeon Geist. But when you're mono blue and you get a Cryptic Command, you kind of have to take the Cryptic Command. All right, let's see. Well, there is a Chasm Skulker, which if we wield the Stroke of Genius could be pretty cool. There's also a Condescend and a Mind Stone. All of these cards are quite good. I think that I'm going to take the... Condescend. Chasm Skulker is a very interesting card. And it does work very well with Jace because you do get to draw 3 every time. But we are running a little low on counter spells, and I would like to have a Condescend type thing in our deck. So we're going to go with that. Ooh, Phantasmal Image. Very cheap clone. Yeah, we'll take it. And, there's ways to target it. This and... I guess that's really it in this pack. But there's ways to target it. But, it's still a great creature. We could also, copy Wormcoil Engine. It dies, and we still get the tokens afterwards. Force Spike would be a really cool one to wheel. Another cool one that we could put on Icecrown Scepter. All right, we have a choice between Dismiss, Waterfront Bouncer, or Geist. I think I'm off the whole splashing white plan. So I think I'm going to take a Dismiss here. I do like to have some amount of counter spells in a mono blue deck. I mean, makes sense. And Dismiss is one of the better ones. I mean, it's Cryptic Command, but you only get 2 modes, and it's slightly easier to cast. Which, I mean, if we're running all islands, we don't have to worry about it. Well, there is a Jace here, and that's pretty good. There's also a Hall of Triumph, which Hall of Triumph could actually be pretty great here. We do have, it's a mono blue deck. I think Hall of Triumph may wheel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there'll be 2 cards left, which will probably be something like maybe Gather the Townsfolk and possibly Hall of Triumph. So let's try and do that. I'm going to take this Jace Architect of Thought. Another great Jace. But yeah, it works great with Master Waves. It gives you 2 extra pips. It's pretty great. Well, speaking of all the blue pips, Teferi is kind of the perfect card for this deck. It's very hard to cast, but if you can cast it, Teferi is great. And it also provides 3 pips for Master Waves and Thassa. So let's take Teferi. Followed it up with, a Brainstorm. We don't have any shuffle effects, so that's a little sad. But we could put Brainstorm onto Icecrown Scepter. There's also an Old Man of the Sea, which we don't have any way of pumping Old Man of the Sea yet. I think we're going to pass on the Old Man and take this Brainstorm. See if we can pick up maybe one more instant here for Icecrown Scepter. But otherwise, as it looks, I think Icecrown Scepter is going to probably sit in our sideboard. Okay, so we picked up Brainstorm. We have the possibility of Delver of Secrets or Stroke of Genius. Stroke can sometimes just be a win condition, especially if we pick up like Chasm Skulker. Delver is pretty good. We're not exactly a beatdown deck. It does provide 1 blue pip. I'm going to take Delver. I'm not thrilled with it, but I think that it's better than Stroke. Spell Pierce. Well, this Icecrown Scepter suddenly got very interesting again. We'll have 4 things. I'll have to look into how X works with Icecrown Scepter. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is very good. Ooh, Chasm Skulker Wield. That's great. Even though we didn't get the Stroke of Genius, oh, and Force Spike Wield too. I guess we're just getting it all right at the end. Even though we didn't get the Stroke of Genius, Chasm Skulker just by itself is a very good card. So I'm pretty happy to have picked that up. Waterfront Bouncer is not bad. It is a Merfolk, which I don't think that we have any synergies with Merfolk. We do have synergies with Elementals. I'll have to look through the deck for Elementals. The Hall of Triumph Wield. That's great. That's great. I don't know if we'll play it, but that's really cool. And Gather the Townsfolk. So just completely called shot that last pack about what was going to wheel in that. That's pretty good. We need to cut a few cards from this deck. And at the moment, I don't know what they're going to be. I have to cut like 5 cards. All right, so here's what I'm thinking for the deck. We are going to be playing a lot of islands. I think that was kind of obvious there. But we're going to be playing a lot of islands. I took out the Delver of Secrets, Cyclonic Rift, Force Spike, and Kaiga, along with the Brainstorm. I looked at Icegron Scepter and X spells. X is always 0. So here's my thinking on these cards. First one is Brainstorm. Brainstorm works really well with shuffle effects. If you don't have a shuffle effect, Brainstorm doesn't do much. We do have Jace the Mind Sculptor already, so Brainstorm is pretty good. Brainstorm is, redundant. It is pretty good with Chasm Skulker, but otherwise, it's not a great card for a deck. That being said, I don't believe Delver of Secrets is a very good card for a deck. Sure, it adds an extra pip for Master of Waves and Thassa, and it could turn into a 3/2 flyer, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instants or sorceries. So I decided to pass on the Delver of Secrets. Cyclonic Rift, this is a card that will probably come in from the sideboard in many games. I do believe it's a very good card. I think Into the Royal is a little bit better because you can choose to kick it and draw a card. But otherwise, I think Cyclonic Rift, we can pass on that one. Force Spike is another one that will probably come in from the sideboard when we are on the draw. Force Spike is very good when you can Force Spike something with something outside of its mana curve. Like if you're Force Spiking a 2-drop, that's great. Force Spiking 1-drop is okay. So like if you play a land, say go, or you play an island, say go, pass to their turn, they play a 1-drop and you Force Spike it, well, you know, it's good. It's not great. Where if you're on the draw and they go land go, you play island go, they play another land and play a 2-drop, and then you Force Spike it, that's awesome. So Force Spike will probably come in when we are on the draw. And then Kaiga, we already have a couple of 6-drops, and Kaiga, again, could be something that comes in from the board, but otherwise, you know, we have the 6-drop slot pretty locked up, and you know, Kaiga is just okay. As for these other cards, Hall of Triumph, we only have 12 creatures, so we're not really looking to beat down here. And then other things like Waterfront Bouncer could totally come in from the sideboard. So I will see you all for round 1.